Let's continue working with our case study data to do some descriptive statistics analysis. So first we'll start with doing some analysis of the different qualitative variables that we have. So we may want to begin by looking at the age group that has the largest numbers of deaths, or looking at the distribution of how death is distributed between the age groups. So first of all, we can create a graph. Let's begin by creating a pie chart. Now what we have here is summary data because we have age group codes listed here along with the number of deaths listed here. So we'll select with summary. The categories are in age group code and the counts are in deaths. And we'll click create graph. And here we get a graphic, a pie chart of the different age groups. So we have a 25 to 34 age group, a 35 to 44 age group, and a 45 to 54 age group. So again, you can follow along with that analysis, and you can use this particular chart to help answer some of your homework questions. Another chart that we'll generate now is the distribution of deaths over gender. So using a similar procedure, we'll go to graphics, pie chart, with summary. The categories are listed in gender and the counts are listed in deaths. And we'll click create graph. And here again we get a nice chart and we get some counts for how many deaths are attributed to females, how many attributed to males and their percentages, which you can use to help answer some of your case study homework questions. Let's create another similar graph for states. So we'll go to graphics, pie chart, with summary, and our categories are in state, and our counts are in deaths, and we'll click create graph. And this is a little small to see, so I'll maximize it. And here, if you followed along, you should be able to read this on your screen, and it gives you the number of deaths by state and the percentage, so you can easily find the state with the largest number of deaths. And again, you can use this graph to help answer some of your case study questions. Finally, I want to do a little bit more advanced analysis with some of this data. So what I'd like to do is go through and determine how many people died from a very specific cause of death. And the cause of death that I want to consider is this cardiac arrest unspecified cause of death. So I want to first determine how many people died of an unspecified cardiac arrest. And then I want to determine how many males and females died of an unspecified cardiac arrest. So what I'm going to need to do is search through this data and pull out any cause of death that has this particular code, I-46.9. Now in order to make that a little bit simpler for us, I'm going to change the title of this column because it includes spaces, and it's going to be difficult to work with those spaces when I write a little algorithm to go through and find this particular code. So I'm going to go ahead and click in here. I'm going to delete out the column name. I'm going to replace it with COD code. So now there are no spaces, so this will make it a little bit easier to figure this out. So what I want to do is every time I find this particular code, I want to count up the number of deaths. So we'll begin with that, ignoring gender for now. So I'll go to Stat, Summary Stats, Columns, and I'm going to summarize the deaths column where this particular COD code is equal to, and I put a quote because it's text, I-46.9, and then end your quote. And for now we won't group it, we just want to count up the number of deaths. So I'll click next, and I want to determine the sum, the total number of deaths. So for example, this would count as 10, and the next time I see this particular code, I'll add that on, and so on. So I'll click calculate. And here we see the sum is 1,070. So out of everyone here, 1,070 people have died from unspecified cardiac arrest. Let's see how that compares when we break it down by male and female. So we're going to use a similar set of commands. We're going to go stat, summary stats, columns, summarizing deaths, where the COD code is equal to I 46.9, and we're going to group it by gender this time. And go ahead and click next. And we want the sum. So once you've selected sum, click calculate. And you can see here that 337 females died of unspecified cardiac arrest, while 733 males died of unspecified cardiac arrest. Now that we've done a little bit of summarization on these particular data set, go ahead and answer some of the questions within your case study assignment.